My second upload today is just a share about the recent updates of the occurrences of hate crime and treason in my hometown. So as I've mentioned, there's been a demonstrative effort for individuals to cause displacement and denigration and theft that is quite substantial and quite serious as far as I'm concerned, and any other hardworking, reputable individual worth any of their credentials would know the seriousness of stealing and thieving another woman's hard-earned fortune. It's quite serious already that I've mentioned these matters. As a private person of royal hereditary, I shouldn't have to be sharing publicly about these matters, but there has been such a very dangerous obstruction, and there has been so many dangerous defamatory commentaries that are of fraudulence, that this matter is quite serious, that it requires me to share publicly for the interests of humanitarians, etc., that are required in such circumstances as mine, when a collective of malicious individuals cause destruction to a family unit and prey and covet on other people's wealth and fortune. So the aspects of the Human Rights Declaration and the Constitution of the country that I am of, which is the country of Ireland, which is a neutral country, the Republic of Ireland. I'm in the southwest of Ireland. I've experienced very serious offences, as I keep reiterating, and very poor practices. So the issue of treason in this particular instance is quite serious, because, or due to the individuals that haven't had the proper processes in place when they were actually offending my bloodline and my hereditary and my sacred body. My royal light body, as I keep having to say, was damaged by awful means, horrific means, and to this day the latest damages are to my visuals. My visual senses are being assaulted today. And as I've mentioned, my abodes, my marital home, my current abode, I've experienced awful individuals just causing awful problems, and it's just, I'm absolutely astonished that with the contributions that I've been making to society, the beautiful child that I gave birth to, and the accomplishments with regard to recent legislation, I'm very surprised that there has been such a nonchalant non-acknowledgement with regard to all of the matters that I'm experiencing. So I'm just going to whinge and whine on these uploads for the interests of people that want to know the truth of the facts and the situations that are actually occurring, and how hate crime affects a community and a family unit and a person's profession and credentials and experience and good work. So this is also for the interests of the fellowship. It's also for the interest of those that have noticed and benefited from positive developments in Ireland since 2018. The isolationist tactics of those that are benefiting from my work and that are perpetrating broad daylight robbery. It's absolutely astonishing that none of the processes that I commenced are being met adequately or acknowledged properly. So it's a very serious disappointment as a professional that there is this blasé attitude with regard to a professional adult woman and her accomplishments in society, and that there is huge support by awful manipulative means for the culprits that have perpetrated treason and hate crime in a community, and they have been very defamatory, and the wealth and fortune that they're helping themselves to is not their legal entitlement to access. So the entire issue of this matter of those of poor procedures and practices, in many respects, administrative and such, have not had good practice or good codes of behaviour in their procedures. So those that have damaged the sacred royal light body have been quite careless with regard to their own practices and their own gains that aren't exactly within safe parameters. This means that there has been not just fraudulence, there's been carelessness, and there's been very poor efforts, as far as I'm concerned, with regard to a character assault and individuals intruding upon a married mother. So this is highlighting all the very serious issues of civil liberties and civil society, be I a royal or be I just a private citizen. This matter is highlighting how the failings of society since 2017, when my child was unlawfully separated from me, has caused matters to worsen. And yet again, here we are in 21, matters unresolved and still exacerbation occurring due to individuals thinking that displacement of a family unit will make them more comfortable with my fortune and help in their avoidance tactics from their bad behaviours. So the issue of hate crime being an offence against the state and an offence against civil liberties, and individuals trespassing into my property, matrimony, my child's upbringing, my profession, my purpose, damaging my body, withholding medical care, withholding my legal care, legal guidance, obstructing processes with ombudsman, withholding information from me, withholding my wealth from me. These are all very serious issues. So the very pertinent issue that I'm raising at this next junction of this upload is the individuals that have been crude enough to actually intrude upon me as a mother, wondering where my child is. So they have disrupted the peace, they've exacerbated their offences, they haven't addressed their failings, and they're liable and liabilities for further worsening outcomes than have already happened since they perpetrated the initial wrongdoings. So I'm just highly concerned for women and children's rights at the moment, and especially with regard to the professionals and politicians that are not safeguarding the pillars of society that uphold everyone's safety and self-respect and dignity and honour. So treason is at play, defamation and false reporting and fraudulence is at play, and financial theft is at play. So today I'm just gently healing with skeletal injuries, damages to my anatomy, etc, 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 and as I've mentioned, recent damages to my visual senses as well. So this is just an update for the interests of those that fulfill their obligations and their duties and responsibilities, and it's also relevant that the relevant agencies, the agencies that are obligated to ensure that my privacy is respected and my human rights and my royal bloodline, etc., etc., are all safeguarded. So those of slander, etc., are not in the better interests of people that have been enjoying the fruits of my labour in the past 2 to 3 years. And on that note, I'll continue sipping my hot water and healing the damages of unlawful bodily integrity damages and medical negligence that have been occurring.